Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast, your Nintendo News Minute. I'm your host, N64 Josh. Before we jump into this thing, I want to let you guys know that if you're thinking about getting into the content game or you want to upgrade some of your gear, I'm an Elgato ambassador, and if you head over to n64josh.com/Elgato, you can check out some of the latest gear that they have to offer. They have a brand new line called the Neo line, which is very budget friendly if you're just looking to get started or you're needing to add some pieces to your setup. And you can save a little bit more by using code ZZ-N64Josh at checkout. Some of the items I highly recommend: the Stream Deck Plus. The Wave XLR is what my Shure SM7B is plugged into, and I'm changing scenes during this show with my Stream Deck pedal, which is also a great way to capture clips when you are streaming live and you can't get your hands free from your controller. Again, n64josh.com/Elgato, and let's jump into the news. So we're going to start off with some Switch 2 rumors again, and yesterday it was, the Switch 2 is supposedly happening. News coming in September. Well, Bill Kuhn, I think is how you say it, says Nintendo announcement this month is for a Switch OLED bundle. So I'm just going to scroll on down to the tweet. We are looking at My Nintendo News right now, but Bill over on X says, upcoming release, some industry insiders, quote, are hyping for Switch successor announcement this month. But hey, here is something that Nintendo will really announce: a new Switch OLED bundle featuring Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And that they click to a link, but it doesn't look like it's in English, so I'm not gonna continue on over there. But taking a look at the My Nintendo News article here, it says respected video game leaker Bill Kuhn has posted to X to say that the industry insiders or industry whispers around the Switch 2 reveal this month is actually for a new Switch OLED model featuring the sublime Super Mario Bros. Wonder and a 3-month subscription to Nintendo Switch Online. It makes sense for Nintendo to create a new Nintendo Switch OLED bundle to continue to drive sales before the successor to the Switch is revealed. And Wonder is a great game to do that with, in my opinion. I still wonder what, when or if or when we are going to see players' choice games coming from Nintendo and seeing those games get a price cut, especially prior to the holiday, right? With only a handful of games coming out, some of them being a little more niche. I think Mario Party is really the heavy hitter, and it's really going to be a little bit of a toss up between Zelda and Mario Party. I don't know that Brothership is going to pull the kind of numbers that Mario Party or Zelda will pull, but with all that said, I wonder if we are going to see some price cuts and really see Nintendo just market their games at a lower price entry for this holiday, just to try to move as many units as possible. This comes with the news of the PlayStation Pro being announced today for $700. So this reminds me of the PlayStation 3 era when Sony came out with the price for the PlayStation 3 and basically said, go get a second job if you want to buy our console. And so it seems like it could be a great opportunity for Nintendo to kind of swoop in here, show that they've got the best value in gaming with the Switch and with a bunch of their best titles on sale. That being said, there is also, the fact that their games are selling well, they are doing very well. Do they need to put them on sale? It's each sale becomes less profitable as they cut the overall prices. but they've been out, they've recouped all the development costs at this point, and so you would think that may be the direction they go, because they've got new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe and three, like pretty much every one of the Wii U games could be slashed down to 40, including Mario Kart. Can you imagine what the sales of Mario Kart would do if they cut it down to $40? I have a feeling it would be unbelievable, honestly, because I think a lot of people would be going about picking that up. So that interesting times. Back to the news. Switch 2 getting announced, or is it going to be a Wonder OLED? And if it's a Wonder OLED, is it going to be any kind of new color scheme, or is it going to be just maybe the white or the standard blue and red? So I don't know. It's just it's kind of interesting to see where things are going to head this holiday season for Nintendo. Well, Nintendo Life has their review of Yars Rising. Now, Yars Revenge is a game that dates way back to the Atari. And here's a little bit from the article here. It says, over the past few years, Atari has been revisiting its storied history with compilation titles, remakes, reboots, and surprise sequels. So while a revival of Yars Revenge really shouldn't come as much as a surprise, we have to admit being taken back by Yars Rising. After all, what was once a stylish yet basic top-down shooter has now transformed into a full-blown Metroidvania with anime-inspired character design and a bonkers world-ending plot and gameplay that blends stealth, hacking, and good old-fashioned gunplay. Atari, you're mad. That's what the article says here. So pretty cool to see a game kind of evolve like this. Like, the fact that it's kind of a Metroidvania gets me excited. And this is one I really do want to dive into. And so taking a look at like the graphics and just kind of what it looks like how it looks, kind of a cyberpunk, very cyberpunk aesthetic to it. Like, I'm digging it. And so a couple of the joys and the cons from Nintendo Life. It says, intriguing setting that successfully integrates classic Yars terminology, strong Metroidvania gameplay and exploration. The Yars Revenge style minigames are excellent. 60 FPS gameplay feels lovely and smooth. The cons, supporting cast can be a bit annoying. And the final boss is a huge letdown and is way too easy. But overall, they did give it an 8 out of 10. So I'm going to be taking a look for this one. It looks like it launched today, actually. So for $29.99, and it looks like there's a physical as well as a digital release as well. So stay on the lookout for this one. I do want to try to pick it up and give it a go, because I'm very intrigued by the direction that Atari is taking some of their classic titles. Very, very intrigued, honestly. Continuing on with the news here, it's an article from Nintendo Life. It says, does Astro Bot's Super Mario inspiration cross the line? Fans seem divided. So this is going to be interesting, because I watched firsthand Crawler play Astro Bot, and I saw a lot of similarities in many of the 3D Mario games, from Sunshine to 64, even to Galaxy. And to me, I think it's great personally. I don't know that it's such a bad thing. I know some of the conversations that I've seen online are a lot of PlayStation fans don't want these kid games. They want the mature titles that they're used to. So I get that, but other than some of those conversations, I haven't seen too many. But I want to dig into the article here. It says, following the embarrassment of Concord's recent launch and almost immediate removal from sale, Sony has scored a win when it really needed one. Astro Bot launched last week to critical acclaim, sitting at a 94 Metascore and being described as a serious contender, if not the new owner of Mario's 3D platforming crown. So, if you're out of the PS5 loop and want a little overview, our friends over at Push Square have all of the Astro Bot coverage you could want. So definitely check out their glowing 10 out of 10 review. However, not everyone is quite so taken with PlayStation's new platformer, or if they are, it's with the caveat that Astro Bot has been studying the classics perhaps a little too closely. And so a video posted by PostUp from State of Gaming suggests that the origins of various elements and mechanics from the PS5 platformer can be traced to one of Mario's 3D adventures. And like I said, I'll click the video here, and I mean, immediately the first thing I thought of, if you're not watching the video, I totally understand. It looks like sunshine. It looks like sunshine. And then we see elements of Pikmin in Astro Bot and arms in Astro Bot. Like so many different elements and things that are very similar to Odyssey. Again, I think it's a great thing to have games like this on the PlayStation for that audience to enjoy, and games that feel very Mario-like. I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, of course, if you are a Mario fan, go pick up a Switch and get into the Mario games. But I don't see the post on X says word for word, bar for bar, I think PlayStation dude needs to chill with the Nintendo slander when it comes to Astro Bot. Like, it very much takes inspiration from, it felt like a Mario game. It felt like a Nintendo game. Like Astro Bot looks and feels like a Nintendo game. And I think right now in the time that we're in with gaming and releases are few and far between at the moment, and companies don't know whether to do free to play or release just like standard titles. I think Astro Bot is a breath of fresh air personally. And so I don't mind it taking inspiration and being something really fun. Like it honestly, because it was so much fun and because it felt so much like a Mario game, it's more tempting for me to pick up a PlayStation and play through it. And for a little game like this to essentially move consoles, at least when it comes to somebody like me, like it that's saying something. Like when it can take inspiration from some of the best 3D platformers around, maybe the best 3D platformers around, then I'm gonna want to try it. I'm gonna want to jump in. Am I gonna have as much nostalgia? Is it gonna have as much pull for me as a Mario game? Of course not. Not even close. But it's still possible to have a good time with it, and you'll see like it. Go watch some videos of it. Go check it out. It is very, very much a Nintendo game, and I don't think it's such a bad thing. So, looking more at the article here, it says in the video above, clips not only from Super Mario games, specifically Sunshine, Odyssey, 64, Galaxy 1 and 2, but also Pikmin, ARMS, and Splatoon are shown to illustrate the inspiration Astro Bot devs team, Asobi, seem to have taken directly from Nintendo. Of course, developers are inspired by each other's work all the time, but the side-by-side compilation of Astro Bot clips paired with Super Mario moments certainly highlights many loving... yeah, a lot of inspiration from Nintendo's greatest hits. As you'd expect, replies to the post vary from vague agreement to surprise at how closely they align to total disagreement, and calls that these mechanics have appeared in loads of other games over the years. There's also a bunch of console warmongering replies that we can't repeat here. The point is, fan opinion seems divided between Astro Bot being a love letter to Nintendo's finest work or the game copying Nintendo's homework word for word. Nintendo itself rejuvenated the Zelda series with its take on open world mechanics pioneered many years before by many other devs. Is this any different? And that's a great point to make. Like, open world games weren't weren't something new when Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom came out, but again, we see Nintendo thriving in that area and doing their own take on it and doing it very well. Doing it very well. Like I think those games are fantastic. And so I don't know. I'm more of a, if games are fun and people are enjoying them, just go play it. You know, if you're a fan of 3D platforming and you don't have a PlayStation 5 and you're looking for that next 3D platformer, you know, if it's within your budget, go get a PS5 and try Astro Bot. Like, I don't think you'll be disappointed, honestly. It from what I saw firsthand at PAX, it's good. And it's got a 94 on Metacritic. So it's worth checking out, I would say. So that's my 2 cents on Astrobot and where it stands with taking inspiration from Nintendo. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's a game worth playing and worth checking out, because how many times do we see games that try to copy the formula, or they try to take inspiration from the formula and they don't execute well enough that it's, I think this one is executed so well that that's what has so many people having conversations about it. It feels like a Mario game. And if Sony can have, you know, their version of a Mario game, you know, that's great. That's fantastic. Because there's also going to be a ton of kids that are going to be playing this game for the first time, and this is going to be their Mario. I know there's going to be plenty of households that this, you know, Astrobot will be that kid's Mario, and there's going to be, you know, they'll have nostalgia for that series. So I hope it can keep going, and I hope it continues to evolve and become a mainline series for PlayStation. So taking a look at Nintendo Life again, Sonic fans, don't get your hopes up for standalone. I don't even know how to say this word. Is it Chao Garden game? You guys can let me know in the comments if I said it right. I remember these things like on Dreamcast, and you could take the little insert from the controller and play these little mini games. So it says Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 are beloved among Sonic fans, but not just for the fast-paced Sonic or Shadow stages or the cracking music. The Chao Garden is a side activity in both games, is beloved even today, and fans have been dying to see a standalone Chao Garden game where we can raise the cute little critters. And so they're showing these are both from the GameCube. Both of these are Sonic Adventure DX and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And but apparently it says there was an article or an interview with VGC with the Sonic team head, Takahashi. It looks like Izuka. It says suggested that there are no plans for standalone Chao game because it's a piece of other games. It's not a standalone game. Yakuza-san tells VGC via interpreter. It's integrated into the whole adventure series gameplay, so we can't just break it off and make it a thing. And so it's like, all right, well, if you're asking for the Chao Garden and Adventure 3, then you're pretty much asking for Adventure 3. Part of the fun of Chao Gardens and Sonic Adventure and its sequel was finding the little creatures out in the wild and bringing them back to the garden. To the Sonic team, that's integral to the experience, so it'd be pretty difficult to just remove all of that. It says, of course, if it were part of Sonic Adventure 3, then it would delight fans, but that's also not in the cards right now, according to Izuka. It's just one of those things that if the stars align and it can happen, then yeah, we'd love to make it, maybe one day. As VGC notes, there was a rumor earlier this year that a mobile game focusing on cow raising was in development via Game Rant. That rumor, however, has now been disgraced. Was from now disgraced Sega leaker Midori. In the meantime, there's always Lottlenaut, an indie game inspired by the Chao Garden that focuses on cleaning the ocean. It's not exactly the same, but there are many titles inspired by this fun little side activity from the Sonic series, and it looks lovely. So there you go. If you are in the boat that was really hoping to get the Chao Garden, I hope I'm saying it right. If I've said it wrong so many times, you guys can roast me in the comments. I don't mind at all. if you were hoping to see that in the next Sonic game, not looking too good at the moment. Hopefully that won't. Hopefully though, hopefully there will be a glimmer of hope, and you'll get a chance to jump back into the gardens just like in the first two adventure games. Taking a look at a beautiful Metroidvania sequel, Ender Magnolia arrives on Switch in January 2025. I'm going to go ahead and play the video here. We can just kind of take a look as it runs in the background. Anything with Metroidvania is always going to pique my interest a little bit. And looking at this one, it looks relatively spooky, and the characters look pretty cool. And it's looks like it has a pretty big map as well. Now, I'm really curious about what are some of the gameplay elements here. It looks like you've got maybe some swimming mechanics. I don't know, like maybe the character can fly a little bit. I'm not quite sure what we were seeing there. And just looking at the controls, it looks like you can possibly map the buttons, the weapons to different buttons. And so the trailer's not showing a whole lot of action, more just kind of some storytelling here. It looks like, oh, interesting. It looks like it may have kind of a persona thing going on where you're bringing different personas to life. So this is quite interesting. I kind of like the look of this. What is it? Persona, and then also like even like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, kind of where you control the different blades. So this one, yeah, looks pretty interesting, honestly. I'm not a huge fan of the art style. I don't like there's something about and I don't even know what this art style is called, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Where it kind of looks like the I don't know, it doesn't look it's like the animations just always look off to me. It just has never really sat well with me. But other than that, like that minor nitpick, it does look like the combat looks really, really cool. Like I'm kind of digging that. So taking a look at the article here, it says 2021's critically acclaimed Metroidvania Ender Lilies Quietus of the Nights is getting a sequel. If you're a PC player, you may have already dove into the Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist early access period, but the full release has just been announced. Ender Magnolia launches on all platforms on the 22nd of January 2025 or 23rd in Japan. The sequel improves on the original with refined combat, new skills, and a brand new world to explore. The game was originally announced back in February 2024 during a Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. Set decades after the first game, you'll be thrust into the land of fumes. In fumes, Hamakoli exists as a result of the kingdom's attempt to advance development. The toxic fumes have caused many of the Hamakoli to go mad, and only Lilac and a tuner can save them. If Ender Magnolia even improves on the original slightly, then you'll be in love. We called Ender Lilies one of the strongest Metroidvanias of 2021 and is easily one of the best examples of the genre on Switch to date. And we still feel that way today. So Nintendo Life really liked the first one, Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Night. So if you're looking for a Metroidvania, maybe one to go check out. All right, well, we get a little bit more info for Zelda here, Echoes of Wisdom, and it says Lon Lon Ranch potentially spotted in new Echoes of Wisdom footage. And so it says we're just over 2 weeks away from The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom release, which means Nintendo is drumming up interest and giving us a few teases all across social media. And the company has done it once again today with some brief new gameplay footage featuring Zelda's horse riding skills. We've seen Zelda ride a horse before in previous Echoes of Wisdom footage, but there's something of specific interest for longtime fans here, Lon Lon Ranch. At least, that is what it appears to be, thanks to Stealth for spotting on Twitter. This is around the 21-second mark in the clip below. Zelda is seen riding a brown horse over a low fence. The camera cuts to a close-up of the princess before cutting away at the second fence to show you what looks like the famous ranch. which made its debut in Ocarina of Time. And so there is a screenshot here, and it says the clip ends shortly after showing just part of the ranch, which looks to be surrounded by a familiar old racetrack. It's also home of a bunch of different horses, which Zelda can presumably ride. Her white horse also stays there too, lending credence to the fact that it is Lon Lon Ranch. That means we've also got a very brief glimpse of the place back at the beginning of August, where Zelda jumps over the right side of the ranch. Interesting. Love this kind of stuff. Just finding these little Easter eggs and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the clip here, and love seeing Zelda ride around on the horse. Like, I love the look of this game. It just looks so fantastic, and of course, seeing her do an echo of a carrot there, bringing the horse over, and then just traversing through the different areas. Like, I am excited to lose myself in this game. And oh yeah, you can see what looks like the ranch there, and just really cool to see that. And I wonder what other throwbacks we might see in The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. And I'm so looking forward to jumping in. Like I said, the little bit that I've played already, like it just it only made me want to play more. And so really looking forward to more time with that. So, well, if you are a fan of the Castlevania Dawn of Sorrows, the Julius mode is even harder on Switch. And so this is not something that I'm super familiar with. But taking a look at a tweet here, it says, if you haven't heard, the Castlevania DS collection actually buffs the final boss of Julius mode. Even the original developer is surprised. You can no longer simply walk under the larva attack for speedrunners. This makes Dracula even more dynamic fight than before. And so they got a little clip here. I'm going to see if we can just kind of take a look. Looks like it maybe used to be something that could kind of be cheesed or something, but that's not going to be the case anymore. They're going to make it more difficult, and it does not look like something for the faint of heart. Honestly, like it looks pretty tricky and pretty awesome. Honestly, this might be a pack that I need to pick up and play for the first time, because it does look pretty good. So. But again, it would be interesting. You know, speedrunners, they love those kind of glitches and finding things to be able to be able to exploit to get through areas faster. And it looks like that you're going to have to do all kinds of dipping and dodging and everything else in order to defeat Dracula this time around, which again it looks so great. It looks super cool. So one that I should probably try at some point, because I do love just the look of DS games, and seeing them in higher resolution is something I think is really cool. But this boss fight is gonna get a little trickier. So looking forward to that, honestly. Moving right along here, we've got a roundup of the reviews for Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, and it says it's a must own for fighting game fans. So kind of just taking a look at a handful of the different outlets that have reviewed the game. This is from CG Magazine. It says Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics is not only the most accessible way to experience some classic crossover action, but it's also the best way to play outside of having to bust out the old Sega Dreamcast. VGC gave it 5 stars. They said Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection combines 7 superb arcade classics, even though Marvel vs. Capcom's 2 superiority does make 5 of them feel a tad redundant. The addition of the Punisher is a welcomed extra, but the museum mode is on the basic side. And Punisher is a game that I loved as a kid and played all the way through and completed in the arcade. Noisy Pixel says the overall package is well-rounded and appealing to both newcomers and veterans alike. A must-own for fighting game fans and retro enthusiasts. GameSpot It says Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection has opened the floodgates with a blob of, open the floodgates with a bomb, grouping them all into a package worthy of modern era. There are some issues, and some of these games don't hold up quite as well as others, but the fact that they're all here is a terrific act of preservation worthy of praise. And last but not least, over at Push Square, it says Capcom presents. When you hear those words while booting up a game, you know for sure you're about to be taken for a ride. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics is an essential release if you're after one of the most prolific parts of fighting game history. So there you go. Some really, really great reviews. I have gone hands-on with this one, and it's so much fun. It was so much fun jumping back in. It had been years. I had not played this game since the arcade. I played Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I believe, on the Xbox, and that was a great title. Like I had good time with that back in the day, but there's just something about 2. 2 is just so incredibly special, and getting to play it behind closed doors with Nintendo, and then also playing it on the show floor of PAX. Just such a great time, and in multiple ways, playing it with controller, playing it with fight sticks. It just holds up so well and is so well done. So this is one I cannot wait to get into, get onto my Switch and start playing. It's going to be on the eShop on the 12th, and then physical on November 22nd. So if you maybe one of those situations where you might have to double dip if you want to jump in sooner than later. Well, heading on over to my Nintendo news, it says Nintendo has spent nearly $910 million on research and development in the last fiscal year. And it says news has emerged that Nintendo participated in a hefty spending spree for its resources and development department during the fiscal year, which ended in March 2024. As you can see from the handy chart below, which if you're watching the video, you can see, the company spent almost 138 billion yen, roughly $910 million during that period. The substantial amount of money was likely used towards the company's successor to the popular Switch console, which is set to be revealed by the Kyoto-based company before March 2025. Nintendo is forecasting yet another increase for the current fiscal year. And there's a tweet here from Pierre485, and it says Nintendo spent almost 138 billion yen on R&D in the fiscal year ending in March 2024. It's a record in value, and the company is forecasting another increase for the current fiscal year, even if it expects sales to slow. So Nintendo's ramping up. Guys, they are ramping up, and I think we are going to be reaping the rewards of this. Honestly, I am having a hard time containing myself when it comes to thinking about the next console, the new Mario Kart, all of these things. You know, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is 10 years old this year, and so it's not Deluxe, but Mario Kart 8 is 10 years old. Deluxe is, of course, only from the first year from 2017, but still, like, it's been a minute, and I'm ready. I am ready to jump in. So it's really cool to see how much Nintendo is spending on R&D, and I'm anticipating amazing things. Nintendo announces Splatoon 3, the Grand Festival, and so this is we know Splatoon 3 is wrapping up. All right, and this looks like to be directly from Nintendo of UK. It says the Grand Festival, the biggest Splatfest for Splatoon 3 on Nintendo Switch, is just around the corner, starting on the 13th of September and ending on the 16th. And I'm just going to tell you guys right now that I want to make this an event for us. So if you are a Splatoon player, or you just kind of play it casually, whatever the case may be, I want to make this last Splatfest for Splatoon 3 something that we get as many people involved in as we can. I think it will be a lot of fun. We'll have to decide which team we're all going to go, and I'm sure not everybody will agree, but I want to make this something special to kind of send this game off. I think it'd be fun, just kind of a fun community event for us. So it says it's just around the corner, starting on the 13th and ending the 16th, featuring 72 hours full of festivities and music. To decide teams, players will vote on the question, which is the most important to you? Past, present, or future? Ooh, deep. Which is the most important to you? Past, present, or future? They will also be in for performances by all three groups from the Splatoon series: Deep Cut, the Squid Sisters, Off the Hook. During the first part of the Splatfest, the three groups will rotate between three stages, and in the second part, they will put on a special performance of their newest single, Three Wishes, together. During both parties, players can press the directional buttons to express themselves, whether they feel like it with exclusive, whenever they feel like it with exclusive emotes. During the Splatfest, 4 versus 2 tricolor battles are available from the very start and for the first 48 hours. Every previous tricolor battle stage will be in rotation, including Scorch Gorge, previously exclusive to the Legend of Zelda themed Splatfest. The final 24 hours will see the rollout of the exclusive tricolor battle stage Grand Splatlands Bowl. And if you can snag the Ultra Signal there, your team supporters will arrive to cheer you on. So it sounds like it's going to be a pretty big event, and like I said, I want to make it something that we can all jump into and have some fun with. So plan on some streams that weekend, playing some Splatoon, and just coming together as a community and having a bit of fun. And who are you going to go with? You going to go with past, present, or future? I got to think about it. And I'll be in the Splatoon section of the Discord chatting with you guys to see if we can agree on a team or if we're just going to all choose what we would prefer. So could be interesting. It'd be very interesting, but excited to jump back in and get some Splatoon going because it's a game I do love. And speaking of Splatoon, Japan, Nintendo and Suntory Splatoon 3 collaboration. So I'm thinking it's showing Pepsi on screen if you're not seeing the video, and it's showing a lemon Pepsi. So Japan is home to a lot of Nintendo-related merchandise, as well as many collaborations that Nintendo has done with other companies to bring Nintendo-themed products. The latest example of this was just announced by Nintendo earlier today, where the company behind the Switch revealed a collaboration with Suntory for for 5 Splatoon 3 themed drinks. The Suntory drinks that are involved in Splatoon 3 collaboration are Pepsi Big Zero Lemon, CC Lemon, Decavita C Power, Pop Melon Soda, and Nachan Ringo. Each bottle has 2 variations with Splatoon 3 characters on them. They are all available for limited numbers across Japan stores. Buying all 4 bottles in a single purchase will also allow you to get a bonus clear file that you can enter a sweepstakes for an MA-1 jacket. The sweepstakes for the jacket closes on October 31st. And so if you're watching the video, you can see all of the different bottles available for this final Splatfest for Splatoon 3. I wonder what lemon Pepsi Zero tastes like. It's interesting. Wonder if it's any good. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll find out. Last but not least, leaked early gameplay of a new Shinobi reboot. And so, looking at a tweet from Ryan from the Bronx, says an early version of the opening movie and gameplay sequence for the upcoming Shinobi title currently in development. Now, Shinobi was a game that I loved as a kid, and so I'm taking a look at the video right now. If you're on Spotify or YouTube, of course, you'll be following along. Shinobi was a title that I loved. I put a lot of time into Shinobi, and I believe we have access to at least one, I think, on Nintendo Switch Online. And they are, I mean, if you're a kid from the 80s, you loved playing as a ninja. There was just no way around it. Like, ninjas in the 80s were like peanut butter and jelly, peanut butter and chocolate. And so this looks really cool, you guys. If you're only hearing the audio right now, like, it kind of looks like a cel-shaded animated cartoon. And the animations for your character look great. You can kind of see clothes like in like moving with the wind and the way he runs, and it's kind of a killer art style. It looks hand drawn. It looks hand drawn. So if you are a fan of Shinobi or have been for years, you may be in for a treat with this one. I'm not sure if there's any official dates or anything for this. All the article says here is leaked footage has emerged for the new Shinobi reboot video game, which is currently in development by Lizard Cube and Sega. The footage has appeared on social media platform X and includes the game's opening movie, as well as some all-important gameplay footage. It is not clear how the leaker got a hold of the early footage, but you can check it out below. So they're not mentioning anything about dates or anything like that, but I'm like, this is on my radar. I'm excited for this one. I will definitely be playing a new Shinobi game when it finally hits, and hopefully it hits on Switch as well. So that is going to do it for this episode of the Nintendo News Minute. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you all so very much, and we will see you in the next one. Bye now.